We made it to the end of Monday. This is private practice. What have you been working on today? Well, how's your Monday been? How's it started? What have you jumped into? Before you say anything, I know my glasses are different. No, they're not new. They're actually old because the ones I like to wear need an upgrade. So one of the things I did today was got my glasses prescription retested at the optometrist, and now we know why my vision hasn't been as great as it has been in the past. Apparently, however, it's all age appropriate. And all the ladies in the office were having a bit of a laugh about that. And I was like, oh, okay. So we're going to have to use these for a couple of weeks until my other ones are ready. So there you go. They look like they are being swallowed by my face. But anywho, so you may not have seen the post I made this morning. I actually chose not to go to my yoga class today. We've got a fair bit on happening this week. It's kind of been, it's one of those pressure weeks. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't putting crazy, silly amounts of pressure on myself and Sophie. So I wanted to spend time, dedicated time today working on some marketing materials that are needed. So I've been able to do that, and I've been able to execute that, and I've been talking to the designer and the printer on and off all day. So it looks like we might be ready to go for Thursday, which is fantastic. Whew. Tell you what, having two big events on in the 1 week is very poor planning, but sometimes your time is not your own and you have to seize opportunities while they're around, and other times you know that you should not be in charge of your own schedule. So I wanted to talk a little bit into today how we get stuck in our heads all the time. It's something, all people do this, all humans do this, and we're humans, so we'll be doing this. Hey, Paul, are you struggling to sleep again? I saw a post of yours overnight. So we get stuck in our heads, and if you remember the Monday post from last week, then we can quite often be mean and nasty to ourselves in our own heads. So it's not the most reliable place for us to get information or to help ourselves get out of our heads. Talking to ourselves is usually met with, you stupid idiot, get out of your head, you're so in your head, how much more difficult do you need to make things, you're overcomplicating everything, let's sit and think about this and overcomplicate it some more, let me overcomplicate that in the way I'm trying to write and express. That is certainly how my head trash talks when I am up in my head. How am I going to make this work? How do I make it work for everybody else? What happens if it doesn't work over there? What happens if it doesn't work over there? I have contingencies for my contingencies. Because as we learned last week from the fabulous Dr. Amy Parks, that 80% of the somewhere between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts that we have in a day, 80% of those thoughts are going to be negative. 80%. That's a lot of friggin' thoughts that are not good. And then from those thoughts, 95% of that 80%, I think I've got the stats right, I haven't written them down, it's like most of those are habitual. So is it any wonder that we struggle with the negative thoughts in our head? Is it any wonder that we struggle to get out of our head? So if our default is negativity, then and the place we like to stay is in our head, then how do we get out of that quickly? Or how do we get and it's not, you can't boss yourself, you can't just say stop it, because seriously, how many times have we tried to do that? It's not a willpower thing. We actually need to change our state, which is what it's called in coaching speak. Basically what it means, we need to come back to being in the present. And I know for myself there's a lot of grounding techniques that I use to help me do that. So my first go-to, if it's before 3 p.m., is I'll make myself a cup of coffee. There's something in the whole disruption of my thought process. There's something soothing for me about the whole preparation, the smell, the activities involved in making a coffee. I did not need the third cup of coffee this afternoon, even though I thought I was craving it. Unhelpful. But there was something about that got me out of this intensity that I was feeling, this overcomplication thing that I had going on, and it allowed me to just break it and go, that's okay. So I thought about some other things. I like to move my body. I find I need to get up and move. I get very irritable in my body because it hurts. It's just painful. the other thing I do is I look outside. I have this gorgeous window. It's not very nice outside today, let me assure you. But if I look outside, I can come back to the present because I'm noticing the green of the leaves. There's usually some birds around, or it's windy. And I'm going, I'm so glad I'm in here where it's nice and warm, but it's bringing me back to the present. And something else that I did today that I didn't realize I had done was I reflected on what I had actually achieved. And I think for every one of us who go through those days where it's like, what the heck have I done today? I feel like I've done nothing. Adela too. I think it'd be a really good idea to reflect on exactly what it is that you've done, even if it's as simple as I got up, I had a shower, I made the bed, my kids are fed. The first 3 months of Anthony's life, that was my mantra. And I only had one. But I was really impressed. I got to 3 o'clock this afternoon and look at this page. This page tells me, look, even little, yay, go me. No, it's up there. We're actually crossed off all the things that were on my to-do list today. And there were some chunky things on that list. Feeling pretty good about that. But I'd love to know from you, what are some of the things that you do to get yourself out of your head when you've noticed that you're spending way too much time up there and you're starting to get anxious, or you're starting that whirring thing, you're starting to feel panicky, you're starting to worry, you're starting to ruminate. Maybe you're like me and you're creating endless video recording scenarios in your head of all the things that could go wrong and then trying to contemplate all the scenarios for that. I'm awesome at that. Maybe I should have been a screenwriter. I could have been a great conspiracy theorist screenwriter, I think. I can make up some awesome crap in my head. Anywho, that is our mindset shift for a Monday. Would love to know if you've got any other grounding techniques that you use regularly, stuff that you do automatically. Paul, you read, you exercise, which is really cool. Again, getting into your body. For me, I think that's so important, especially those of us who are working with other people's emotions a lot and we have to think about things a lot. I miss that mind-body connection thing. It's taken me years to get that and enjoy that in my world again. But feel free to add your comments below. Share with us what you do and how you make this work. And I've got a big day tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see how I turn up. It will be with these glasses. You're all a little bit fuzzy right now, but that's okay because they're for reading. But I look forward to sharing with you some more this week. Until then, go be awesome.